BTS, a 7-member Korean pop boy group formed under Big Hit Entertainment. MCU, a universe comprised of similarly themed films created by Marvel Studios. Both are seeing not only domestic success from where they were formed, but international success all across the world. The messages and themes that both these entities provide have such a monumental weight that it spans across many different forms of media, regardless of sex, race, and country. Both can be considered juggernauts in their respective fields. While it may be far-fetched to draw similarities between the two, there are still many concrete reasons as to why they have seen the success and have been able to inspire millions of people. Now in this video, I'll lay out the key points, links between the two entities, and dive into them. Underdog mentality. BTS was a group formed under Big Hit Entertainment, a relatively small music label at the time. In the Korean music industry, it's very hard for musical groups if they debut/start out from a small company. This is due to a lack of resources and connections. It takes resources, primarily money, to develop artists because they have to feed them, house them, and enroll them into singing, dancing, and even acting lessons. Once the artists are ready to debut, then they have another challenge, which is to promote their music. Labels first need to make sure that the music produced is of top quality alongside all the packaging, then promote that music through various means. Currently, most groups promote through music show appearances and variety show appearances. Since BTS was from a small label, those were hard to come by. Apparently, BTS wasn't even supposed to debut at the time they did, and actually took over the spot from another group who couldn't make it into the music show. On top of lacking resources, BTS had to market their music using unconventional methods within the Korean pop industry, such as SoundCloud, vlogs, and social media. This later proved to be their benefit as it helped create a deeper connection to fans from what other K-pop groups could provide. The MCU also had somewhat rocky start. They did not have access to their most popular characters such as Spider-Man, X-Men, and Fantastic Four as they had licensed their film rights to other companies. They were also coming up in an era where superhero movies were not seen as much of a dominant force, not to mention the fact that it seemed that DC had more of a slight edge than their Marvel counterpart at the time. Marvel Studios had to make do with the characters they did have rights to. Marvel Studios focused their time to developing those characters rather than waiting to get their film rights back. Kevin Feige, the current president of Marvel Studios, had a vision to create a vast universe where they first focused on developing their superhero characters and then having them come together for crossover specials. As the MCU was getting more successful as each movie was made, audiences started to notice this and soon gravitated towards the movies. When you're the underdog, you have less expectations placed on you and more space to experiment. Nobody could have guessed that the MCU would become as popular as it has today. Their most successful movie, Avengers Endgame, currently sits at the top of the box office, unadjusted for inflation, at the time of this video's creation. Versatility and diversity. Both entities have incredible diversity within their content. BTS started out as a hip-hop centric boy group. They have evolved into many different genres of music, such as Korean ballads and electronic dance music. Many of their tracks vary from being written by Big Hit Entertainment's in-house producers, artists they collaborate with, and even some of the members themselves. This wide outreach of talent and genres allows BTS to hit various audiences while still maintaining the BTS brand. The MCU is comprised of various superhero movies. Some are large in scale, while others are more street-focused. Some are very action-driven, even to a meticulous point, while others are very character-driven. Some are light in tone, while others have a much heavier tone. All in all, the diversity within the content of both entities allow the respective entities to reach a wider audience while still maintaining their core values and ideals. Course correction. Both BTS and MCU started with the resources they had at the time and worked from there. Clear growth can be seen from both entities within their stories. BTS started out as a hip-hop centric boy group who later delved into more mainstream-friendly music genres while still retaining their core values. Their first major breakthrough was when they released I Need You, which was more of an EDM/trap track compared to their previous hip-hop tracks. The MCU's earlier movies were of a darker and more serious tone. Some of the earlier movies actually even underperformed in ratings. It was after a certain point when they found their quote-unquote Marvel formula, where their movies started to become successful in both ratings and box office. The MCU movies managed to keep their superhero identities while being influenced by other themes such as comedy, thriller, and heist. Humanize / anti-perfection. The MCU is very character-driven. Many have argued that the focus on characterization is what made MCU superheroes more attractive than their DC counterparts. Some people have argued that they humanize superheroes and show their flaws a bit too much. However, I believe that this is the reason why you, as an audience member, invest in these characters so much. These flaws may bother you, but they also connect with you on a deeper level because it shows you that you and the superhero are more alike than you guys think. Even though the MCU characters are not perfect, they still strive towards a higher ideal and take the call of duty. This inspires people as they see how even an imperfect person can live a life of profound meaning and impact. This is similar to BTS as they never shy away from showing their vulnerable selves through their artistry, music, and other forms of media. BTS is always vulnerable with their fears, anxieties, views on life, hopes, and dreams. This, at the time, created friction against the Korean pop industry as Korean idols were supposed to be seen as more of the higher ideal, the type of people that could not be reached. Like the MCU characters, BTS went against this notion and showed their complete selves. Showing vulnerability while being committed to living a higher ideal helped, and it's what helped people relate and be simultaneously inspired by the characters / members of the MCU and BTS. Conclusion: BTS and the MCU have both seen astronomical success. They continue to break record after record. They do this while touching upon important social issues such as mental health, social class, race, and gender representation. In fact, many would argue that this is exactly the reason why they are so successful. They both give meaning to our world in their unique ways and help better it. It can be noted that the content produced by both of these entities have been slightly watered down to become more mainstream friendly. However, I strongly believe that both BTS and the MCU have still maintained their core purpose. In my opinion, the value they provide to the world is very important and is crucial. Many people are learning valuable lessons and mental frameworks by consuming the content created by BTS and the MCU. They both managed to be commercially successful while remaining artistically authentic.